Good evening, and welcome to the Dead Earth podcast. The Earth died long ago, and at first, only a few of us realized. This is the future that awaits us all. This week's story is Maiden of the Manhole. I've always been afraid of the sewer. My thoughts linger on collapsing grates, bursting utility covers, the skittering, pulsating rat kings that form, live, and die within our subterranean railways. My dreams oft-centered around these corridors of human excrement. I would come to, out of the consuming blackness, belly down, trying not to inhale as I pushed up through a narrowing tunnel. Soon, there was no longer room to fit my shoulders, and one of two things would happen. Either I die alone, guttered by filth and man-made tunnels no human being would willingly set foot, or I would become something other. My bones would collapse, my organs would liquefy, and all my body soon caved in around my larynx. What remained of my skin, drenched in slime and shit, would use this viscous paste to cocoon itself, and I would emerge a reptilian horror, complete with human hair and a pale complexion, capable of navigating the thinnest pipes to grant my puttering pleasures. Reaching the peak of one such tunnel, designed and manufactured seemingly only for myself, I swam through the water, gasping for air to fill lungs I surely no longer possessed. Here I am, inside your apartment. The tile floor is cracked and yellowed just enough to put off calling the maintenance man. The shower curtain sags with age, its ends speckled black, and your toothbrush rests beside the sink, bristles stiff, yet frayed. I can hear better than before. You are 3 rooms away. The hallway, your office, your bedroom. And yet I can hear you, and only you, breathing. You're all alone tonight, aren't you? This will make my work much easier. As I think this, I wonder what the thought means, what labor I am to perform. Slithering into your hallway, I move towards the sucking and expelling sounds, excited to find out. They say man creates in his image, and this must be true, as your mouth resembles the gape of the toilet bowl, your esophagus the widened maintenance tunnels of the city line. As I creep down your throat, I wonder what you will feel upon waking. Will this be one of those mornings where you look at yourself in the mirror and croak, "I must have swallowed a bug"? Or will you feel exploited on some greater level? Will you feel as though something inside was missing? Your stomach juices pop and broil around me, and I get a close-up look at the busy mess of a night you had. Cheese oozes and congeals onto sopping dough, bloody meat, soggy kernels, all before collapsing in on itself and sinking below the alcoholic brine. But this is not what I came here for. No, instead I press on into the intestinal tract, wondering, as your corporeal plumbing narrows, whether this will be another moment of transformation for me. And sometimes it is. Other times I become stuck, suffocating on your digestive slick, and when you push my corpse out that next day, you are not quite sure what to make of me, beyond the sudden need to scream in terror. Because what is more horrifying than the realization this abortion of the human and animal world was taking up residence inside the house you call yourself? You wonder whether there are more in there, whether I procreated, whether my eggs were due to hatch. And no amount of doctor's appointments and x-rays will convince you of the fact that this won't happen again. And it will. It will happen again and again and again, because my dreams are as manifold as your sleep. On this particular occasion, however, I do not get stuck. I am again transformed, as I realize my own noxious composition is braided, and what I thought of as myself, as one, was in fact many flesh-draped, hair-covered, scaled worms which now pull apart and are all at once loose within your system. We push onward with the help of your segmentation contractions. Your own body has betrayed you, and it works in concert as we slither towards our goal. Eventually, your anus relaxes, and we are free, on the other side of our human pilgrimage, and again, we hear something which compels us, though it is nothing as pedestrian as your own stale expiring. Now, this sound is rich and layered, melodic. It is so many voices braided together as one, and for symbiotic reasons alone, this collection of sound compels us. We must find its source. So we follow it as it bubbles up through the toilet water. We pursue it down the widening tunnels and chase alongside our insipid siblings as it bellows, down the main line of our city's sewer system. The sound is warm, matronly. It brings to mind the colors blue and gold, though my beady eyes see only black and brown and gray sludge. The sound reassures. It promises us a purpose, a meaning for this psychotic compulsion, an answer for our nocturnal question, our many bestial transformations. And transform we do, yet again. The intestinal worms that survived their trek poured into the sewers from all sides with fervent abandon. As we pile atop one another, lingering stomach juices fuse us together. As we ride the pink and hirsute waves of our brethren, we coil and attach, forming limbs, orifices, musculature. We are a striated, clamoring mass of arms and gasping mouths, and we want nothing more than to gaze upon the perfect, all-knowing creature which has for us both answers and release. This we know. We think as one. We round a curve and we are galloping now, dozens of powerful legs machinating in synchrony. Ahead of us, the shitwater glitters blue. Something down this tunnel is glowing. It emanates and pulses in time with this sweet music, and we feverishly imagine and discard imperfect images of our most perfect potentate. And at once, the dream ends. And I am awake in my bed, and my alarm is blaring, and I shudder because I know where it was my mind ventured while I slept. I piss, hurrying my flow along to quicker flush and set the lid back down on the toilet bowl. I always close the lid now. I notice my toothbrush sitting with its frayed and stiff bristles in a very familiar arrangement. I move it ever so slightly. I clean myself, trying not to picture the individual rivulets bursting forth from the showerhead as gray worms, rebounding from my skin and slinking back into the drain below. Dry off, dress, slab some peanut butter, devour an apple. I'm off to work. And as I navigate the teeming streets and join the flow of bodies, I have this sickening, aberrant thought which returns time and time again. I look upon the countenance of a man, woman, or child in passing, and as often as not, I think I know you. And it is not the knowing that comes with pleasant acquaintance. It is another type of knowing, a detailed account of their interior, from the tongue to the ass, and a horrific sense that I could sit and describe in detail every inch. We are not all the same inside. Some of us are freckled, some thick with cilia. We can be wet or dry or dripping. I have seen your cancers, your deteriorating systems, and your undigested refuse. I have passed by and through rot, welts, abrasions. You, an image of perfect health to any of us with human eyes, are eroding away from the inside, and I know exactly where. A small, fair-haired boy smiles at me as I pass, and I cannot help but look down to his throat, his stomach. I know him how his parents, his doctor, he, in all his years, never will. What to do with this knowledge? As I said before, I fear the sewers. Each day I walk by, I hear that beautiful blue and gold sing-song a little louder. The horror I felt the first time I realized this aria did not exist only in dreams is still, now, inescapable. I hurry past the sewer grates. I avert my eyes from the storm drains. My working hours are filled with the thoughts of alleyways where I might remove a utility covering, slip below the streets undetected, and pursue that sound to its source. The part that gets me the most, that keeps me up at night, afraid to fall asleep, is that I know what will happen when I find my siren, my maiden of the manhole. I won't be able to resist it. I will divulge all my knowledge, betraying in minute detail every last cavity of those I have spelunked. What this thing, this horror, will do with my knowledge, I don't know. But I know it needs this knowledge. It hungers for it. I can hear the appetite in its song. A song that grows louder by the day.
The Dead Earth podcast is created by Emily Lyles, Taylor Normington, John Reeder, and Dan Wallace. All stories are crafted by Taylor Normington. Maiden of the Manhole was performed by Michael Foxtrot Johnson. Our logo artwork is designed by Chloe Burns. You can find more of our work on Instagram at Tiny Moon Studios. Episodic artwork by Leah Middendorf. Our website is deadearthpodcast.com. Thank you for listening.